It was Benjamin Franklin who said, "Well done is better than well said." And I think this statement is true because I personally believe that it's neither our opinions nor our thoughts that impact or change the world positively, but our actions. In Matthew chapter 25, Jesus told the parable of the talent. There are a lot of phrases I like in that particular parable, but one that stands out to me is Jesus' response to the servants who put to use their talent. He says, "Well done, good and faithful servant." And I like that. The master commended them based on what they did with the talent, not what they said. I was born and raised in Ghana, and the culture that I come from has high linguistic values. And when I say that, I mean we pay a lot of attention to what a person says, how he says it, and just generally the words that come out of the mouth of a person. So we speak in proverbs, we speak figuratively, and the way that language is woven into the culture is just so intricate and beautiful. And I like it. I like that about our culture. And I think when it comes to, for example, choosing leaders, we bring that value into that. This is what I mean. When I was young, I always thought leaders were people who could talk well, who could speak well, who could mount the podium and speak and make the people emotional and touch them and cause some sentimental action in people. And that is also good, even though it's not entirely right about who leaders are. And again, one might say, well, it's just human nature. Naturally, human beings gravitate toward leaders who inspire confidence in them, who speak with charisma. And it's found everywhere in the world, in every culture. People naturally tend to follow people or leaders who are charismatic and who are able to use speech or language to bring people together and to gather them as followers to achieve a specific purpose or vision. That is good. That is right everywhere. But in Ghana, it's even stronger because, like I said, our culture has embedded within it strong value for linguistics, for spoken word, for language, and that is good. And so I think when it comes to choosing leaders, we bring on this value as well. This is what I mean. I realized that in choosing leaders in every facet of life, whether political leaders or leaders in the society, even leaders in the church, the people in my culture, and this is my observation, you might not agree with me, and that's fine, but I observed that people were drawn to leaders who could speak well, not necessarily leaders who could get the job done. People were attracted to eloquent leaders, not necessarily leaders with the expertise to achieve a certain goal. Now, I don't think there is anything particularly wrong with leaders who are eloquent or leaders who are able to speak well, but I think it needs a level of balance with leaders who are action oriented. And as I grew up and engaged with other people from different parts of the world outside of my culture, I began to realize that in other cultures, they hold a different value when it comes to leaders or leadership, which is that they want leaders who are action oriented, leaders who can solve problems, not so much leaders who can sound good. Now, it doesn't mean that they don't want leaders who are able to talk and communicate with them and inspire confidence in them, but they place a lot of value on leaders who can get the job done. The more I learned about other cultures, the more I met different people from different parts of the world, the more I learned that particularly when it comes to the area of leadership, whether in leading a group or leading oneself, you can say it's not enough to influence people with your words, with your speech, but it's even more important to influence people with your actions. Actions, doing, acting on your speech or on your promises, whatever words you use, tend to influence and cause more change than simply speaking. So perhaps my own country, Ghana, could use a little bit of both. We want leaders who can talk to us nicely, who can mount the stand or the podium and communicate with us with eloquence. But we also need leaders who can get the job done, who are action oriented. And I think we need to merge these two values to get the best out of our leaders. Because when I was young, I never understood why people did not like leaders who had expertise in a certain area. especially in politics, but they gravitated toward leaders who could speak well, who could command the crowd. So it seemed to me, and again, I say it seemed to me, that politics was reserved for people who could speak well, for people who could command the crowd, for people who could speak with loud voices and give promises and sound their horns, and not really for people who have expertise in a certain area. So I realized that people who had expertise, who had experience in certain areas, were not really interested in politics, because the politics of the day is not built for people who can get the job done, but it's rather built for people who can talk well. And that is why I say we need to merge these values together. But if you've been watching my videos or consuming my content, you know that I'm particularly interested in the individual. I like to get things down to the level of the individual, because I believe at the individual level, you can effect change better than in the group. So I like to speak directly to the individual. So let's move away from the politics and come down to the level of the individual. Now, earlier this year, I made a video that I titled, "How Are You Doing?" And in the video, I talked about how when the year begins, people set goals, they set visions, and by the end of the first quarter of the year, people give up on their goals and their visions. If you didn't see that video, I'm going to leave a link on the screen and also leave a link in the description. So let's go back to Benjamin Franklin's quote that well done is better than well said, and reason within ourselves. I think there comes a time when we have to sit ourselves down and really ask ourselves, are we acting on the things that we say? Are we doers of our own words? Because it's very easy to talk your way into something. It's very easy to say, I'm going to achieve this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and never really value action over talking. It's very easy to talk about the ideas that you have, the fact that you want to start a business, the fact that you want to do this, you want to do that. It's very easy, but it's difficult to put action to your words. I think particularly if you're a young person, you should strive to have value for doing, for acting on your ideas more than talking about them, because it's the easy thing to do is to talk about what you think, your opinions, and the thoughts that you have. But like I said in the beginning of the video, that our opinions don't really change or impact the world positively as much as our actions do. I believe that when our value for acting on what we say exceeds our words or our speech, we are more likely to effect positive change on the world. It's a reason why countries are set apart. It's a reason why some countries in the developed world are able to get things done. They solve problems. And in other countries that you might think are blessed with numerous things and they are rich naturally, are unable to utilize what they have to solve the problems that face them or the challenges that they have. It's action, building systems or institutions that are able to act to bring the needed results. That is what I think makes the difference. It's easy to talk, but politicians in developed countries also talk. They talk. They make promises just as much as politicians in underdeveloped countries. They all campaign during elections, but what is the difference? It's action. One acts, the other doesn't. The institutions in one country function. They really do the job. They do it. They don't just talk about thinking about doing it. The other doesn't. And so it is in the life of the individual as well. When we talk more than we do, we achieve less. When we do or act more than we talk, we become more productive and we influence not only our lives, but the people around us as well. So perhaps it would be wise to sit ourselves down and reason to ourselves, what things have I been saying that I would do or I'm going to do? And what things am I really doing or have I been really doing? And see the balance or the imbalance between the two and see the true picture of where we are headed and inform ourselves appropriately. But always remember that well done is better than well said. If you could choose between the two, choose to act, choose to do rather than say or talk about your opinions or your ideas. It's better to put actions behind them. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And if you have a favorite quote about action, you can also throw it in the comment section. I'll be very happy to read them. Thank you very much for watching this. God bless you, and I love you.